That seems to have gotten people's attention. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Salem, Oregon, where we come together to support each other in seeking our own spiritual paths. Our minister, the Reverend Rick Davis, will not be in the pulpit today. UUCS member James Schmidt will be sharing his thoughts with us. If you've been coming to UUCS for a very long time, welcome. If this is your first time joining us, or if you are new to our faith, welcome. After the service, we hope you'll join us in Hanneman Hall, which is just out the doors and to the left, for some socializing, some time to catch up with old friends, and to get to know somebody new. Welcome.
Signal, it's number 40 in the gray hymnal. Please rise in body or spirit.
The morning hangs a signal upon the mountain crest, while all the sleeping valleys in silent darkness rest. From peak to peak it flashes, it laughs along the sky, till glory of the sunlight on all the land shall lie. Above the generations the lonely prophets rise, while truth flares as the day star within their glowing eyes. And other eyes beholding are kindled from that flame. At dawn becomes the morning, where prophets love proclaim. The soul has lifted moments above the drift of days, when life's great meaning breaketh in sunrise on our ways. Behold the radiant token of faith above all fear. Night shall release its splendor, that morning shall appear. Si singama si kuimba si kushangilia. Si singama si kuimba si kushangilia. Si singama si kuimba si kushangilia. Si singoma si kuimba si kushangilia. Ngoma si singoma kuimba si kuimba kushangilia. Si kushangilia. Ngoma kuimba kushangilia. Ngoma kuimba kushangilia. Si kuimba si kushangilia. Si sisingoma, kuimba, sisi kuimba, kushangilia, sisi kushangilia, ngoma kuimba, kushangilia, ngoma kuimba, kushangilia. Sisi ngoma, sisi kuimba, sisi kushangilia. Sisi ngoma, sisi kuimba, sisi kushangilia. Sisi ngoma, sisi kuimba, sisi kushangilia. Ngoma, sisi ngoma, kuimba, sisi kuimba, kushangilia, sisi kushangilia, ngoma kuimba, kushangilia, ngoma kuimba, kushangilia, ngoma kuimba, kushangilia.
Each time we gather together, we begin to write our story anew. A story of courage, love, mindfulness, purpose, and welcoming. We gather as people of all ages, abilities, backgrounds, and perspectives. We share a covenant as we journey together, knowing that we are not alone. Please join me in saying our affirmation. Love is our doctrine. Compassion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration, build a community of caring fellowship, nurture the hopes, and serve the needs of our world. I'm going to invite James up to help us with our chalice lighting today. It's our tradition at UUCS to light 3 chalices. The first is for our congregation and all of those who are here, all of those that are watching us on technology, all of those in our hearts. The second is for our partner church in Szymanfalva, Transylvania, Romania. And the third is for our children and youth, whom we task with carrying the light and warmth into the future. Please join me in singing the flame into light.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
I didn't know we're coming today. I'm so glad to see you here. Hi, Scarlett. Hi, Zoe. Hi, AZ and Raleigh and the Jocelyn's and AJ. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad you're here today, silly muffins. So today we're going to go outside and learn a little bit about birds and about sunlight by playing a really fun game that I know all of you are going to love. It's called Hungry Birds, and it's all set up outside for you. Elijah helped me set it up. And then we're going to go on a scavenger hunt to find craft items to use in a sun catcher. Yeah, we do lots of scavenger hunts this summer. That's right. That's right. But first, because we're all gathered here today in our beautiful church and we're so lucky to be here together today in person, I also want to tell you a little story, a nature story to inspire your heart and your imagination and to get you started thinking about sunlight and winged things, okay? So this story is called The Dragonfly Story, and it's by a nice mom named Donnie at themagiconions.com, okay? So down below the surface of a quiet pond lived a little colony of water bugs. They were a happy colony living far, far away from the sun. For many months, they were busy scurrying over the soft mud on the bottom of the pond. They noticed that every once in a while, one of their colonies seemed to lose interest in going about its business down there with their friends. Clinging to the stem of a pond lily, it gradually climbed up out of sight and was never seen again. "Look," said one of the water bugs to the other, "one of our colony is climbing up the lily stalk. Where do you suppose she's going?" Up, up, up it went slowly, even as they watched, and the water bug disappeared from sight. Its friends waited and waited, but it did not come back. "That's funny," said one bug to another. "Wasn't she happy here?" asked another second water bug. "Where do you suppose she went?" wondered a third, but no one had an answer. They were greatly puzzled. Finally, one of the water bugs, a leader in the colony, said, "Well, I have an idea. The next one who climbs up the lily stalk must promise to come back and tell us where he or she went and why." "We promise," they all said solemnly. One spring day, not long after, the very water bug who had suggested the plan found himself climbing up the lily stalk, and up, up, up he went. But before he knew what was happening, he broke through the top of the water and fell onto a broad green lily pad above. He was so tired and felt so warm that he decided to take a nap. And as he slept, his body changed, and when he awoke, he had turned into a beautiful blue-tailed dragonfly with broad wings and a slender body designed for flying. He couldn't believe the startling change he saw in his body. His movement revealed 4 silver wings and a long tail. And even as he struggled, he felt an impulse to move his wings. The warmth of the sun soon dried the moisture from his body, and he moved his wings again, and suddenly he found himself up above the water. He had become a dragonfly. Swooping and dipping in great curves, he flew through the air. He felt exhilarated in his new environment, and by, the dragonfly lighted happily upon a lily pad to rest. It was then that he chanced to look below, down to the bottom of the pond. Why, he was right above his old friends, the water bugs, and they were scurrying about just as they had been doing some time before when he was down there. And then the dragonfly remembered his promise. "The next one of us who climbs up this stalk will come back down and tell everyone else where he went and why." So without thinking, the dragonfly darted down. But when he hit the surface of the water, and he bounced away because of the surface tension, right? And now he was a dragonfly. He could no longer go into the water. "I can't go back," he said in dismay. No, he didn't die, thank goodness. At least he had his new life above the water, right? And he said, "At least I tried, but I can't keep my promise. Even if I could go back, no one of those water bugs wouldn't even recognize me anymore. Now I'm a dragonfly. I guess I'll just have to wait until they become dragonflies too. And then they'll understand what happened to me and where I went and this wonderful new life I've been given. And we can share it together." And the dragonfly winged off happily into his wonderful new world of sun and air and waited for his old friends to get there too. So, thanks be, and may all beings benefit. Thank you, Scarlett. So today we're going to wait, and everyone's going to line up, and they're going to do the love arch for us to walk out under, okay? So we're going to watch and see the adults do it, and we're going to walk out under it.
Wherever you walk, walk in love. Wherever you walk, walk in peace. Wherever you walk, walk in beauty all around you. Our hearts go with you.
They forgot their lantern. Oops. Even When Our Hearts Are Broken by Rebecca Parker. Even when our hearts are broken by our own failures or the failure of others cutting into our lives, even when we've done all we can and life is still broken, there is a universal love that has never broken faith with us and never will. Gratitude by Max Cap. Often, I have felt that I must praise my world for what my eyes and ears have seen these many years and what my heart has loved. And often I have tried to start my lines, "Dear Earth," I say, and then I pause and look once more. And soon I am bemused and far away in wonder. I have been given a request. If many of you have noticed that Mary Bray is here visiting, and we're so glad to have you here, Mary. And Mary will be moving away. Remind me where you guys are going, Mandy?
I live in Eureka. I will stay there. My brother lives St. Simon's Island, Georgia, so 2 miles away from his home. And we're living here on an island, living in a swimming pool and a hot tub.
Can I come? All right. But they've given me a card to read to you. Thanking you for your kindness and thanking God for you. Thank you, beautiful people, for loving us, supporting us, singing with Mom and Dad, and being such an important and wonderful part of our lives. Please continue to do the important work in this interdependent web, and thank God for you too. From Mandy Bray, daughter of Mary and Jerry Bray. And she's left us an email address so we can keep in touch. Thank you so much.
I would like to, anyone that knows Mom and Dad and that wants to correspond with Mom, I can give you my mailing address afterwards, but I have a notebook I'd like to collect people's addresses. Mom likes to write cards, and that's something that we love to keep the snail mail in service.
So I'm going to, for the online, I'm going to kind of repeat that. Mary's asking if you are interested in keeping in touch with Mary and Mandy and Mary and the family. You can go ahead, and those here can contact Mandy today. I'm sure that it would be fine if you are watching through technology. If you want to get a hold of the office here at uusalem.org, we can pass that information on, and bless you all.
Our pastoral hymn today is "Can I See Another's Woe?" It's 127 in the gray hymnal. You may remain seated.
Can I see another's woe and not be in sorrow too? Can I see another's
It is time to throw out our exceptional identity and humble ourselves. We have always done good in the world. It's in our DNA. The question is, are we ready to do better for our own people? Because the world includes every person in our own faith, many of whom have been microaggressioned right out the door. It is the silent, revolving door that many do not want to acknowledge. It is time to look ourselves, not just in our faces, but in our souls, and ask ourselves, who are we really? Which Unitarian Universalism are we taking into the future? If we have no intention of taking it to the promised land, then let's just acknowledge that. Let's Marie Kondo our unfaithful practices and release what no longer serves us and make room for what will. How can we save the world if we cannot save ourselves? Remember, I say this because I love you and I need to survive. But I also need to say this, and I speak only for myself. I am running out of truths to tell and ways of saying them. It is time now to keep this beloved faith from fracturing. Moreover, in this delicate turning, let us remember that before anything, ante todos somos seres humanos. We are human beings who have chosen to travel together to make a new, more just world. We must continue to choose each other as companions if we are to accompany one another.
Good morning. Neurodiversity is a new term describing the differences in how people's brains work. It's part of a broad social change, asking people to change the way they think about mental differences, from thinking that all divergence from what is typical or neurotypical is bad, to thinking that some differences thought of as disorders in brains can be okay or even helpful. The most well-known example of neurodivergence is autism. I was diagnosed with autism at an early age. I think it was at the age of 3. There's a lot of misinformation and misunderstandings about autism that my parents, as well as I myself, had to navigate through. Being autistic, in my experience, means that your talents are different than most other people. Things that are easy for many other people to do can be very difficult for you, and things that are generally difficult for other people can be much easier or intuitive for you. For instance, when I walk into a room, I try to observe how other people are standing to figure out how I should stand. And when I talk to people, I try to carefully balance how much eye contact I give, giving a lot of eye contact to send the message of being focused, but making sure to look away occasionally because completely unbroken eye contact is rather unnerving. My mind is filled with rules and procedures like this, from how to match velocities with people walking by that I want to check in with, to how to check in with people by asking them how they're doing, or another starter question I've learned. This kind of knowledge forms what I like to call my translation matrix, the knowledge I've gained and collected to make sense of the world I live in. While everybody has to have an awareness of social situations, it is far more subconscious for neurotypical people, whereas for neurodivergent people, part of our minds is always focused and processing this. While it becomes easier with practice, it's still a conscious thought. It still occupies a chunk of processing power. This means that socializing takes a lot more energy for me than most other neurotypical people, because I have to power this translation matrix. It's not something that I want people to feel bad about, but it does get tiring from time to time. But being neurodiverse is far more than just difficulties. I have some pretty awesome skills too, and even some cool superpowers. Some autistic people can draw amazing art. I myself can read by instinct, even before I learned how to talk. My analytical nature of looking at the world has helped me greatly in advocating for myself and others, because I can describe situations in helpful detail. In fact, a scientist by the name of Juan Enriquez posited in a TED Talk he gave that autism may actually be an evolutionary adaptation to the modern world. Like many things, my neurodiversity has also affected my spiritual journey. When I was a young child, I was Episcopalian, but that was mainly just following my parents. I later became rather disconnected from my spirituality as I got older. This was because of a deep frustration with nature due to my many food allergies as well as my attention deficit disorder. My ADD is still helpful in certain sections of my life, such as storytelling and other creative pursuits, but it is an aspect of my neurodiversity that I've struggled with regulating and accepting. I saw myself as full of defects to be fixed, and because of that, I wish to be in a time where technology could change what I felt was broken about myself. But when I joined Unitarian Universalism, I started to see a different path. I could worship and have spirituality without needing to conform, without requiring me to believe things I don't have faith in. It let me have meaningful conversations about life and philosophy with my fellow churchgoers, in addition to small talk. The social structures of this church felt easy to join. Instead of being isolated, I felt included. I found that Unitarian Universalism was accepting of my differences, of my neurodiversity, and I felt supported. I remember that the UU Youth Convention was the first place where I shared a poem I wrote about my experiences with autism. In this poem, I talked about my difficulty with social situations, about how I struggled to understand the flow of social situations. I ended it by saying that I have finally learned how to flow with social situations, maybe not like water, but at least like sand. I was nervous to share it, but I felt safe at the UU convention. After the talent show where I shared my poem, one of my friends came up to me, one of my good friends by the name of Alana, and said that it really sucks how I have to hide my autism, that it's really sad how the end goal is to appear to be not autistic at all. And as I was sitting with my tablet writing the speech, I remembered this conversation, and I asked myself, how much time and energy I've spent trying to hide what I am. And I think that regulating one's own neurodiversity is important. I do it every day. I'm doing it right now for politeness. I'm not saying there shouldn't be a difference between our public selves and our private selves, but I now wonder if I've focused on it too much. Something I appreciate about the UU faith is how I've encountered so many people who are willing to assist me with my neurodiversity, whether that's helping me add to my translation matrix or providing quiet spaces when I get overwhelmed and need to recharge from socializing. Thanks to this faith, I have reached an acceptance of my neurodiversity that I don't think I would have been able to obtain without it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, James. Let there be an offering to sustain this congregation. Our church doesn't charge a membership fee. There's no cover charge. You didn't have to pay an entrance fee to get in here. We don't even have a tip jar. But we do have sustaining members and one-time donors who are the backbone of our organization. You are the ones who keep UUCS, all of its programs and ministries, alive and open. Our donors also support our Share the Plate recipients. This month, we are proud to share with Latinos Unidos Siempre, and I'm sorry, my Spanish is not good. Their mission is to work towards the educational, cultural, and political development of youth. Those attending today in the sanctuary may place donations in the baskets located by the back doors right outside the sanctuary. Your generosity is appreciated and donations are gratefully received. If you're watching us online, please go to our website, uusalem.org, where you will find instructions on how to donate. Thank you so much.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Days are breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear fathers? Oh, where are our dear fathers? They are dying.
dear sisters? Oh, where are our dear sisters? They've gone away to Zion. Day is a breaking in my soul.
Oh, where are our dear children? Where are our dear children? There by the stream a dancing. Day is a breaking.
Where are our dear children? Where are our dear children? They're by the stream a dancing. Day is a breaking. Day is a breaking in my
James, I'd like to invite you to bring forward the social justice lantern. And if you could light that from our chalice, I would appreciate it. Each week, we light this lantern to symbolize the sharing of the warmth and the light of this congregation with the wider world. And now we will extinguish our chalices. Today, maybe more than ever, it's essential that when we extinguish our chalices, the sparks of light and learning that we kindled today remain alight with us, that they sparkle and sing and dance in our hearts, in our actions, so that others can be a part of our search, to be welcome and to be themselves. When we use our sparks to kindle the flame in others, our own light goes brighter. Let's see. We need to remind you that registration is still required. Most of you probably registered today. And that children's RE is back going up. You know, I know there's a surge in COVID cases, so if you're not feeling well, go ahead and stay home, watch online, please. We will have fellowship time, as I stated at the beginning, in Hanneman Hall. Please stay and get to know one another. We aren't yet doing coffee. It will come, but let's just take the time to get to know and spend some time with each other. It's time to sign up for those connection groups. That's still possible, but you only have until the 22nd of this month. So go on and click and make sure that you get a spot in the connection group that works for you. Okay, so the UUCS Music Department is planning Diversity Music Series, and it starts on September 10th. So be ready for that. You'll get more information as it gets closer. And we're still holding many of our meetings via Zoom. Some are meeting here in person. And I know the board's going to start doing that, which I'm kind of excited about. But so be sure you're checking with your group to find out whether it's an in-person or a Zoom meeting or a hybrid of the two. And go ahead and check out our latest newsletter for more information, or go to uusalem.org.
Our closing hymn today is De Colores. It's 305 in the gray hymnal. We are going to sing the Spanish verse, so be ready for that and do your best. Please rise in body or spirit. Oh, the colors, yes, the colors we see in the springtime with all of its flowers. All the colors when the sunlight shines out through a rift in the cloud and it showers.
we say our closing words, I want to be sure I thank our musicians. That was really great today. That was fun. And James, thank you. That was very wonderful to hear. So you may join hands if that's a comfort level for you, or you may just join your spirits. And please do join me in saying our closing words. May faith in the spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come.